in either stance, that's a real problem for Canelo because he will just be switching, and you don't know where the shots are coming from, and it's so easy for him to do so. And I think the thing that really made me appreciate him is there's many times where I've seen people try and trade with him and slug it out and...
I don't know if it's reachable for him. If anybody can do it, it's him, and I'm contradicting myself. I just don't see it happening, you know. Could it happen? Yeah, it's boxing.
Terence Crawford is reportedly training with Gennady Golovkin ahead of his fight with Canelo Álvarez, drawing major attention in the boxing world. The two boxers are said to be working together to sharpen Crawford's power, timing, and overall ring IQ. With Golovkin's experience guiding him, this partnership could provide Crawford with the extra edge he needs as he prepares for one of the toughest fights of his career. When analysts look at Terence Crawford, they do not see an ordinary fighter. They see a rare talent who combines speed, timing, and an unmatched ability to read opponents. Crawford is known for switching stances smoothly and adjusting mid-fight, a skill only a handful of boxers have mastered. His boxing IQ is often described as genius level, as he can break down fighters with precision. Observers believe that his adaptability and ring awareness make him unique, setting him apart from most fighters in the sport today. For many, he is not just great but truly amazing in the way he controls fights with intelligence and strategy.
If there is anyone who can do it, it's Terence Bud Crawford, a man who survived getting shot in the head, for God's sakes. Like, he is not normal. He is a wizard of boxing. He's got genius IQ, one of the smartest boxers I've ever seen, and he can do it all. He's had over 40 fights. I can't ever remember seeing him, like, shook or worried. I mean, this is, trained killers trying to take his head off, and he never looks out of pocket. He is like a rapper who just turns up and figures out his lines on the fly and still makes it sound like the best song you've ever heard. Like, that's how amazing he is. Like, I've never seen anyone who can fight out both stances the way Crawford can. I mean, he looks so natural in either stance. That's a real problem for Canelo because he will just be switching, and you don't know where the shots are coming from, and it's so easy for him to do so. And I think the thing that really made me appreciate him is there's many times where I've seen people try and trade with him and slug it out, and when they stand in the pocket and they just go for it. And even in those situations where usually both of you are getting hit, he still manages to hit and not get hit. It's like he's in the Matrix. And this isn't against average fighters. This is against the best in the world at 4 different weight classes. And he's made it look easy pretty much every time he's moved up. I think in the Errol Spence fight, that was a fight that was supposed to be 50-50. The pressure was on. A lot of people thought he was going to lose that fight. He made that look like a boxing lesson. And the reason is when Errol Spence would throw a punch and not get out of the pocket quick enough, he would make him pay every single time. And if people are worried about Canelo's feet being slow, if there's anyone who can punish that, it's Terence Bud Crawford. In terms of weaknesses, these guys, they don't really have weaknesses. They've just got things that they maybe not as amazing at. That's the level we're talking here. Canelo has been accused of being a bit of a slow starter, and, that could be a problem in this fight.
Michael Fox highlighted an important aspect of the upcoming clash between Terence Crawford and Canelo Álvarez by pointing out that the only real disadvantage for Crawford is the weight. Moving up to face a naturally bigger and stronger fighter like Canelo presents obvious challenges. The size difference could allow Canelo to impose physical pressure, making it harder for Crawford to rely on strength exchanges. Yet Fox made it clear that, aside from this factor, Crawford holds the edge in nearly every technical department. Crawford's footwork allows him to create angles that frustrate aggressive opponents. His jab is sharp and precise, setting the tone for combinations and disrupting rhythm. His timing, often described as elite, enables him to capitalize on the smallest openings. Most importantly, his ring IQ is considered one of the best in modern boxing. He knows how to adapt mid-fight and switch tactics seamlessly depending on the opponent. Fox believes these skills make Crawford a nightmare matchup for Canelo despite the weight gap. If Crawford can handle the physicality and not allow Canelo to dictate with power shots, his overall talent could shine through. In that case, Crawford has every chance to outclass and defeat the Mexican superstar.
I would like to see Bud pull it off. The thing about it is, I think the only disadvantage Bud really has is the weight. I think he has all the skills and attributes that are required to beat a guy like Canelo Álvarez. Canelo's kind of flat-footed. You've seen the fights with Bivol and Laura and even School, who didn't do much, but when you see that movement, irritates Canelo. You know what I'm saying? When dudes that know how to control the range and stuff like that, he didn't look like the world beater. You know what I mean? The motherfucker that sat in front of him, them dudes that sat in front of him, we see what he did with him. You know what I mean? But guys like Bivol, who was bigger, but he bouncing in and out. Laura, motherfucking landing counter lefts, and he's circling out, and that shit was fucking with Canelo. Floyd, it probably killed Canelo that Floyd was always only an inch away.
Yep.
Just a little step back, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, God damn, I feel like I missed by a mile.
That's crazy because he didn't use no movement.
Right.
He stood in the pocket on it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Triple G was. You said G? Triple G?
No. I said Floyd didn't use no movement.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Yeah. He was always where he needed to be in the ring. He was always where he needed to be in the ring. I'm in there to land, then I'm just right here. In there to land, but now I'm right here. It was a bad motherfucker, Joe. Like that's what Floyd never gotta understand. Floyd was a bad motherfucker. But the movement, having good feet under you, helps against Canelo.
When new training photos of Terence Crawford's physique surfaced online, showbiz, the adult reacted with curiosity and skepticism. The images displayed Crawford in peak condition, with a noticeably sharp muscular build. However, the immediate question raised was whether these pictures were authentic or edited. Some fans wondered if the visuals were exaggerated to intimidate Canelo Álvarez ahead of their clash. Showbiz highlighted that while Crawford has always been disciplined in his training, such dramatic physical changes sparked debate. This reaction shows how closely fans and commentators examine every detail, especially when it involves a super fight of this magnitude.
Shredded wheat and amazing. Is this photo photoshopped? Because this photo that Ilia Topuria posted of Terence Bud Crawford is the latest photo we've seen, and he looks just less impressive in this photo. Well, the question is really, when were the photos taken? All right, so when you look at this photo and you look at this photo and look at this video of Terence Crawford with His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh as Terence Crawford is working out, supposedly just yesterday, right? Which one is Terence Crawford's latest appearance? Because even though this is the latest photo you've seen, doesn't mean this is when the photo was taken. The only reason why people are confused is because this latest photo seems to have been taken in Vegas. And we're approaching fight week, and Terence Crawford is already in Vegas. Hence the video with him with His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh in Vegas. Now, let me explain all of this. Well, first, you got to look at the hairstyles, right? Terence Crawford in this photo from Ilia Topuria, his hairstyle is totally different than this hairstyle here with Terence Crawford shredded wheat. It is also different than his hairstyle that he has here in the gym with His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. You can tell because you can tell how the hair braid, like how it's parted in this photo, and in this photo, they're more parted down the middle, where this video, it's slanted. It's in like a diagonal slant, which I'm thinking is his latest.
Adam Smith gave a detailed explanation of why he favors Terence Crawford over Canelo Álvarez, focusing heavily on timing as the deciding factor. According to Smith, boxing is not only about skill but also about meeting opponents at the right or wrong moment in a career. He pointed out that Canelo Álvarez has already endured years of tough battles against top competition, which has inevitably taken a toll on his body. While Canelo is still highly skilled, Smith feels his speed, explosiveness, and sharpness are no longer at the level they once were. In contrast, Terence Crawford is entering what many consider the peak stage of his career. He has momentum on his side, remains undefeated, and shows no visible signs of slowing down. Crawford is still hungry, motivated, and possesses the energy of a fighter eager to prove himself against the very best. Smith suggested that this perfect alignment of form and ambition gives Crawford an advantage. For him, the timing of this fight is not in Canelo's favor. He believes Crawford is catching the Mexican star at a moment when his sharpness has slightly faded, making this the ideal opportunity for Crawford to win and solidify his greatness.
In Vegas to see, I think Terence Crawford beats Canelo, and I think that it's going to be his coming out party. I'd love to be there, and Canelo, of course, an all-time great. Yeah, but listen, I love Ireland, and I'm pleased to be in Belfast with the zone for Crocker and Donovan. There's something about an all-Irish fight which is fantastic, and it was great and controversial first time around. It's even bigger now. So yeah, let's chat over there and get on with it.
Just a quick one on Canelo Crawford. I heard you pick Crawford. You just said it there. How much of that is down to timing, and how much of that is down to styles?
A bit of both. I think Canelo is approaching 70 fights. He's been beaten before. Crawford remains undefeated. I think that the jump up is big, but I think he's got the speed, the IQ, the experience, the know-how to be able to handle it. If he's switched on for every minute of every round, I think he wins, and I think he announces himself to the world on Netflix. And I think he deserves it. I think Terence Crawford's only been really known to the trade fans. Canelo, obviously, a bigger name, bigger star. And look, I fancy Crawford in this fight. Look, nothing against Canelo. Maybe it's a little bit of time in the skull fight. I don't know, but there's plenty that fancy Canelo. Be too big, too strong, too good. It's Crawford for me.
On Talk Sport Boxing, the debate over Canelo Álvarez versus Terence Crawford turned intense. Some commentators boldly claimed that if Crawford loses badly to Canelo, he may not step into the ring again at the highest level. The panel weighed both sides of the argument. Some believed Canelo's size and pressure would overwhelm Crawford, while others argued that Crawford's skill set and boxing intelligence could expose Canelo's weaknesses. The conversation reflected the split opinions across the boxing world. What stood out most was the dramatic prediction that defeat could end Crawford's presence in marquee fights, showing just how high the stakes are for this event.